Welcome back to Number One Sports. Boy, does it feel good to be back. We have learned so much from college football in just 3 weeks, and with conference play right around the corner, I'm going to be sharing with you what I think those most important things are. Let's get right into it. There are 4 major things that I thought have been big shocks that we have learned very quickly. A couple of them probably won't surprise y'all, and I'm sure y'all have already learned, but a couple of things some of y'all probably haven't expected. So, the first thing, which I'm sure most of you agree with, is that Arch Manning did not live up to the hype. He extremely disappointed me, and I know you're like, Jay, you're a Tech fan, you just hate Texas. I do hate Texas, but still, I think we can all agree that Arch Manning's not lived up to the hope. So, he has gone for 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and thrown 579 yards. So, not the worst stats in the world, definitely not the best. They had a very disappointing loss to Ohio State. Week 1, losing 14-7. You're like, Ohio State's a great team. They have a great defense. It was Arch's first game. The pressure was going to get to him. But honestly, they had way too many chances to win that game that Arch just couldn't deliver. They beat UTEP and San Jose State. Not very impressive. They only beat UTEP by 17. Arch threw an interception, and he got booed off the field in the first half. That's how bad he played. The fans of DKR were not happy with him, and like I said, even if you're a Texas fan, I'm sure you can relate. So, number 2, what happened to Clemson football? Boy, they have disappointed me. I was so excited for them this season. I love Cade Klubnik. He went to Westlake, which is where my dad went. I said in this video that I thought that he had a good chance to win the Heisman. Unfortunately, I doubt that's going to happen. He's thrown for 633 yards, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So, probably worse stats than Arch. I really don't know what happened to Clemson. A lot of people had high hopes for them. They came into the season ranked like 4th, I think. And then they lost to LSU. That's not terrible, but it was at Clemson's home stadium, which in my opinion is the hardest stadium to play in college football. And then they beat Troy, but that was nothing impressive. They were trailing 16-3 at one point, and then they came back and won. And then they lost to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is probably, I'd say, one of the better ACC teams, but I'm still disappointed. They should not have lost to Georgia Tech. They should not have been trailing to Troy, and they probably should have beaten LSU. There's no shame in losing to LSU. They're a great team, but again, on your home field, you need to win that. So, number 3, OU is legit. Now, some people, you're probably saying, well, yeah, obviously, we knew they were going to be good. Some people are probably saying, well, I didn't think they'd be good after last year, because that's what I thought. Now, they got John Mateer from Washington State. He had a great year at Washington State, and it looks like he's going to have an even better year at OU. He's thrown for 944 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So obviously that touchdown to interception ratio isn't great, but 944 yards after 3 games is impressive, especially beating Michigan. Now, it's hard to tell how good Michigan's going to be. OU's the only real game they've had, and they lost, but it was not at the big house, so I can't blame them that much, and it was an absolute dogfight. And then they blew out Temple and Illinois State. Not very impressive. So, that 944 yards, maybe it was a lot easier to get playing pretty bad defenses, but still, he played great against Michigan, and I'm excited to see the season he has, and I would not be surprised if he's in the Heisman running at the end of the season. Now, number 4. A couple of you are probably going to be like, who is this? And y'all are going to get mad at me for saying this, but Baron Morton, the Red Raiders quarterback, could be a possible dark horse in the Heisman. Now, just hear me out. He's thrown for 923 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And you could say, oh, well, he's played nobody. And you'd be right. He's played Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State. So, yeah, not the greatest teams in the world, but those are some impressive stats. And if you watch those games, you could see him slinging the ball. Some of those passes, it didn't matter what defense you were playing, they were just great throws. This is really early to say anything, but you never know what can happen. And my big question for this week is, what should we think of Notre Dame? They're just coming off a national championship appearance, losing to Ohio State, obviously. Wasn't the best of games. They lost Riley Leonard. They still have Jeremiah Love, though, who I have to say is an absolute beast. They lost to Miami, barely, 27-24. No shame in that. lose to Texas A&M 41-40. You were on your home field, and the kind of defense gave out on that last second touchdown. It was a great ball by Marcel Reed, but still, if you haven't seen that clip, go watch it right now. It was insane. So they lost to two great teams, both of which they could have very easily won, and you could argue they should not have lost those. So, they had a lot of hope in making the playoffs at the beginning of the season. I'm not saying they still can't. If there was something I saw where their chances had dropped severely, just because they don't have any conference prestige, I really couldn't tell you how the FBS Independence is still a conference. So they would probably have to win out and beat some good teams if they want to make the playoffs. It's an unfortunate thing for them. I like Marcus Freeman. So we'll see how the rest of the season shapes out for them. I think they could definitely still make the playoffs, but they got to step it up a little. All right, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll try to post next week. If not, I'll see y'all soon. Thanks for watching.